sometimes, even if it's a refill that's past due, we wonder, is the patient okay? Are they, doing fine? Anything changed? Did you stop taking this medication? So for me, it's like a comprehensive tool to actually engage with your patient, to make sure, they're on the right track, they're taking all the right medications, they're actually compliant with their medications. So for me, I feel like it is a great tool to not only make some great money, but also engage with your patient. And this right there will keep the patients there with the pharmacy for the longest time. Because, once you do that to them, once you treat them like you care about them, they're never going to leave anywhere else.
Welcome to the Pharmacy Quality Solutions Quality Corner Show. Buckle up and put your thinking cap on. The Quality Corner Show starts now. Hello, and welcome to a special edition of the Quality Corner podcast show. Today, I will be your host, Brittany Boyd, Associate Director of Pharmacy Training and Support. I have the privilege of interviewing Tarek Haddo, owner and pharmacist in charge at Farmington Hills Pharmacy, located in Farmington Hills, Michigan. The performance of Farmington Hills Pharmacy in the 2024 calendar year has identified them as the most earned pharmacy within the Independent Pharmacy Cooperative Group, or IPC. Under our new Pharmacy Stars program, we are here to welcome Tarek to the show. Welcome.
Hi, Brittany. How are you?
Doing well. How are you today?
I'm well. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, for our Quality Corner Show listeners wondering what is a Pharmacy Star, I'm happy to announce that the Pharmacy Stars program is a recognition program designed to recognize the outstanding achievements of our community pharmacy partners. PQS by Innovaccer would like to celebrate the efforts of our end users as they leverage the EQUIPP platform to best influence their actions in the pharmacy. During today's episode, we'll spend some time getting familiar with Tarek in the Farmington Hills Pharmacy ahead of the McKesson ideaShare conference. The award will be physically presented during that time. So no matter if you're listening to this interview prior to the award recognition or after, please join me in congratulating Farmington Hills Pharmacy for their engagement with patient opportunities that provided an additional revenue stream for them through EQUIPP in 2024. Tarek, how does it feel to receive this award from EQUIPP?
Honestly, it feels great. Always feels great to be recognized. We do work hard with our patients. We do spend a good amount of time on EQUIPP. We do utilize the platform to the best of our knowledge. So honestly, on top of it being a good revenue for the pharmacy, it's great to be rewarded for that.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And again, congratulations. Now, for my listeners, as I mentioned to you, we'll take this time to learn more about Farmington Hills Pharmacy. So we're going to jump right in. Tarek, how many team members do you all have on staff? And on average, how many patients are you typically engaging with on a weekly basis?
So we do have 2 full-time technicians. I do have a part-time pharmacist that does help me with. I do work most of the time, so I'm here almost like 6 days a week. But we also do have a part-time technician. We do have pharmacy students that actually join our pharmacy from time to time. We do probably engage with about 20 to 30 patients a day as far as phone calls, customers showing up at the pharmacy. Some of them actually we do email. I would say roughly between 20 to 30 patients a day.
That's amazing. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing that information. And it's really fantastic to hear that you're emailing the patients. That's definitely a new way for outreach that I don't think we are typically hearing on a regular basis. It's typically phone calls and some text messaging, but
Right.
it's great to hear you guys are emailing them as well.
Yes.
It's really fantastic to hear the technicians you guys have on staff and utilizing them. I am a technician by trade, so that's really great. And so we hear from pharmacies often that it can be challenging, right, to utilize EQUIPP at the store level, knowing the number of other software platforms that you may be utilizing or other competing priorities that may be going on. But
Right.
why is it all important? Why is it important for you there in the Farmington Hills Pharmacy and your staff to utilize the EQUIPP platform?
For me, besides the revenue part, which is obviously great, that's a very great incentive. Also, I use it as a tool for like refill reminders, for patient adherence, for compliance. So, a lot of the time, with your busy day, with, amount of patients you see, you forget to. Some people do want their medications automatically refilled every month without them calling, without them reaching out. So sometimes if you slip here and there, so that for me, EQUIPP is a great tool for that matter. We log in sometimes. Oh, we forgot to do her refill. We forgot to do his refill. We call them. We reach out to them. Sometimes even if it's a refill that's past due, we wonder, is the patient okay? Are they, doing fine? Anything changed? Did you stop taking this medication? So for me, it's like a comprehensive tool to actually engage with your patient, to make sure, they're on the right track, they're taking all the right medications, they're actually compliant with their medications. So for me, I feel like it is a great tool to not only make some great money, but also engage with your patient. And this right there will keep the patients there with the pharmacy for the longest time. Because, once you do that to them, once you treat them like you care about them, they're never going to leave anywhere else.
That is amazing insight, Tarek, and I really love to hear that. All of your reasonings are really great, and clearly, it sounds like you guys take the data out of EQUIPP and you're incorporating that into workflow. So, do you keep the information from EQUIPP like at the counter? Are you giving it to your staff directly, and then they're reaching out? Like, what does that look like to incorporate it into workflow?
So we have like specific days. So I mean, some days are busier than others. So normally like the busy days, we don't like go in every day of the week. So I have specific days on like slower days on downtime, or if I have an extra staff member, um, especially if I have students, pharmacy students, that's actually a great learning experience for them. They're looking at different medications, they're looking at interaction, they're looking at therapy uh, change, or an addition of a therapy to a patient. So the, most of my pharmacy students love that. It's just a great learning experience for them. So I try to incorporate that during my week. So I normally have like a general idea of how many cases, of how many patients I need to contact, for the month or for the week. And then we kind of like divide it, for 2 days a week. Mostly Saturdays is a slower day for me. So I'm open shorter hours, but again, I do have the time to actually, make few phone calls, document, few things on EQUIPP. So normally, the weekend it's the time for um, getting that task done for EQUIPP or other platforms, or if we have to do stuff other than counting pills and dispensing medications. So yeah, I the best way to do it for me, honestly, is just to specify a task to a person, or assign a specific day for it, and get it done that way. Because if you just trying to get everything done in one day, sometimes it's just, it depends on the pharmacy volume, but there's a lot of them there. There's a lot of cases, and there's no way you can get through them like with 1 or 2 days. You have to make it a weekly task.
I love that. So it sounds like what you guys are doing clearly is working. Yeah, those actionable takeaways. You know your pharmacy staff and what you guys are capable of, and that's always really important when you're making sure you're demonstrating the best practices to utilizing EQUIPP. And so I'm really interested to continue to talk through, how you guys are engaging with that data and that success you've had in the platform. So we continue to heavily promote in our enhanced services, and ours also are my programs features that are the leverage really for the revenue generating opportunities for our pharmacies. So I want to ask you a two-part question in reference to this. One, how has EQUIPP made an impact on your pharmacy's revenue? And does the enhanced services page within EQUIPP clearly identify your action steps that you need to take to provide these specific services to your patients?
Yes. So again, I we do use it as a tool for refill reminders and therapy, additional therapy to patients. So it does add revenue in that sense. Because I mean, obviously, if you're refilling prescriptions that you completely forgot about, or something that you weren't going to do, that's an extra revenue for you. And then in addition, completing those cases will get your revenue from EQUIPP. The platform layout is great. It was kind of confusing in the beginning because they did change the platform,
Mhm.
but it's set up very nicely now where you can actually easily navigate. That you can look at the dashboard, you can see you have a general idea on how your pharmacy is performing, where your patients stand, and then you can go to the enhance tab, and then everything is right there, very easily accessible. Because I have been using EQUIPP for like 6 years now, ever since I opened. So I've seen the older version of it, and
Yeah.
then I've seen it transform. So I think it was very, very positive transformation. It is a really nice setup portal, and I feel like is really easily accessible, and you know it's layout great where everything is right there. With clicks away to actually get where you want to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was fall of 2022 when we had made that like
Right.
initial upgrade. Yep. And so I've been with PQS, the team here with the Quip for 7 years. So yes, I remember the navy
Yes.
blue kind of
Exactly.
light grayish tone that we had where it was showing
Yep.
user data. And so we're doing a lot more targeting towards those patient opportunities that you have right at the store level and giving you even more patient information. Some
Sure.
opportunities are even updated to you guys weekly. So you let me know that you guys are utilizing the dashboard, and taking the data. Saturdays is typically the way that you're working through that and those opportunities and making sure that you kind of have take a targeted approach and your entire
Right.
is incorporated. Are there any other special techniques or strategies that you think led to the success for these programs last year?
Honestly, I normally log in, get a general idea of what's on there. Sometimes, it's organized by patients. So I take a look because I see a lot of my patients at the pharmacy. So a lot of them do come in. I talk to them on the phone almost on like daily basis. So in that sense, I when I'm speaking to them, I remember, okay, there's a case for this patient here or a case. So sometimes you kind of like multitask in the sense of okay, you're already on the phone with them, so might as well get that out of the way. Ask your questions, get some answers, and that way you kind of kill two birds in one stone. So I feel like that helps a lot. You just take the pressure away from the rest of the team, and then they feel like okay, they don't have to make 20 phone calls in one day. I so far it has worked for me. So I don't know if it's a good model for everybody, but I feel like if you know your patients, it's a great idea to kind of like skim through EQUIPP, log in. You don't have to do the cases. Log in every day. Just see what's pop. What's there. What cases has dropped. What patients are there. That way, when you're talking to them, because I know I'm going to talk to at least, like I said, 20, 30 patients a day. So
Right.
one of them has got to be, at least one or two of them got to be one of those patients on the platform. So, and that way I'm saving myself, time, and actually, you know, again, earning money from completing those cases.
Yeah, that is fantastic to hear, Tarek. It sounds like you are maximizing your time, your efforts, the way you can engage with your patients and everything. So that is amazing. You guys are definitely taking a keen approach there on engaging with the data and your patients at Farmington Hills. And so my last question related to enhanced services is wanting to understand your patient's response when you did approach them with the gap closure programs, those clinical service opportunities. How was that received by the patients in your community?
Again, they really appreciate that. Like I mentioned before, they feel like you're calling because you do care about them. You want to check up on them. You want to make sure they're on the right track. They're taking the right medications. Nothing has changed. So it does mean a lot to them. Most of them do really appreciate the phone call, because at most big box stores you never call the patient. The patient always calls you. So
Right.
when you get that phone call from your pharmacist or from your pharmacy asking, if you're doing okay, if your medications are up to date, or if you need any refills, it really does make them happy. So for me, I do it because I want to have that connection with my patients. I want them to feel like we're family. I want them to feel like we do care about them, and that's exactly um, why we have been successful throughout these years, and that's exactly why EQUIPP is a very important tool for our pharmacy.
That is amazing. Really glad to hear all that, Tarek. So, as we continue to maintain engagement with EQUIPP in 2025, we will continue hosting these fantastic programs for your pharmacies to, again, advance the revenue opportunities that you have, but also to continue that patient engagement. So, what you guys have been doing seems to work and be extremely successful based on what you were able to earn, in addition to your standard pharmacy earnings from EQUIPP last year. So, amazing job on that again. But do you and your pharmacy staff have any plans to further advance your use of EQUIPP this year by creating any new strategies or any new techniques that you're willing to share, or what you or is what you've been doing being so successful, that you guys will kind of continue that same strategy here this year?
I normally go by if it's working, why change it?
Yeah.
So if we've been doing great with it. So for me, I feel like the way we tackle it, the way we approach the cases has been working very good. So we're going to continue to do what we do. We're going to continue caring for our patients. We're going to continue utilizing EQUIPP to help us do that. So hopefully for many more years. But again, it's there's always room to expand and do other things with EQUIPP. I'm sure that you guys are always trying to add new features and always trying to make it more customizable to be able to provide the best patient care from a pharmacy perspective.
Amazing. Yeah, Tarek, we are always trying to add new things. And so, like you mentioned, the patient opportunities that we continue to host and EQUIPP, we do update those weekly. But our health plan partners that we continue to work and partner with do allow for a lot of those opportunities to continue to expand. That then allows for us to put new features within EQUIPP and hosting new performance programs and giving you more gap closure opportunities. And so, we're really excited to continue to advance those insights for you all. So, Tarek, it's been really great getting a chance to chat with you today. And I'm hoping that the work that you're doing is helping to inspire other pharmacy users listening to this interview. So, as we round out today's episode and as our most earned pharmacy star, I'm interested to know that from the Farmington Hills Pharmacy, what makes you all unique in your community? Is there anything special that you guys are doing outside of, again, that customized approach, that one-on-one with the patients that is very valuable to them? But interested to know if there's anything else that you care to share about your community there at the pharmacy and how you guys interact with others there.
Honestly, my main goal from day one was to treat everybody like family. I treat everybody like my mom, dad, sister, brother. So that's my approach. I took an oath as a pharmacist to care for my patients, and I do care for them as family, and that's what keeps them here. So uh, I try to give them the best care I can. I try to give them the time they deserve. So most of those patients appreciate that. Most of those patients can't find that easily at a different pharmacy. It's at the end of the day, medications is the same everywhere. So what matters is your customer service. What matters is what you give those patients.
Absolutely.
That's what they come for. So that's thank God. We took over this pharmacy in 2019, and we have probably quadrupled or 5 times the business since inception. So you know and that's with zero advertisement. So people do come uh, for the pharmacy staff. People come for the pharmacist. People come for the genuine care that you provide. So these things do matter to me because I take it personally. I take the patient health, the patient satisfaction personally, and I do care for them like I do care for my family. So that's been my model since day one, and we're going to continue working that way. And I think that's what separates us from everybody else. Um, you know, most of the pharmacies now are offering the same services, very similar services, especially in the independent pharmacy world. Everybody is kind of competing with each other, offering the same services. Uh, but I do have faith in my team. I do have faith in myself that we can provide an exceptional service that will keep our patients with us no matter what. And I do have like some true stories where I do have a lot of patients that, their nephew or their niece or their, cousin has opened the pharmacy, but they continue to use us because they don't want to give up that service. And I have a true story of another person that we are not contracted with his insurance because he has a commercial insurance that only allows him to use like, big box stores. But he does come to our pharmacy and pays with a discount card because he just wants the service. They don't care for the copay. They don't care, what's coming out of their pocket. They want to come to a pharmacy where they feel like they're welcome. They feel like they're family. They feel like they're cared for. So, this is the biggest thing for us, is just to provide that genuine care, to provide that friendly service, to provide, you know, everything we can to help those patients on their way to better health.
That is amazing. Thank you for that, Tarek. I love to hear that you take the family approach there in the pharmacy. We hear quite often, we've heard from our pharmacy stars here this year that family approach definitely has an impact. And so kudos to you all for what you have been doing and what you continue to do. And thank you for sharing those
Yeah.
stories with me. Really appreciate it. So Tarek, I want to thank you for joining the PQS team today. For us to have this special edition of the Quality Corner Show and allowing us to get to know you. And again, just want to continue to applaud you for the work that you're doing there in Farmington Hills, Michigan, and continuing to push forward patient care to continue to advocate for EQUIPP. I will see you in Nashville in just a couple of weeks. So
Yes.
I'm really excited to see you then. And we'll give you your award at that time. We'll take some photos. So excited to be able to hand that over to you.
Perfect. The
Thank you.
pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We thank you all for tuning in today. We look forward to being in your ears on the next episode. The Pharmacy Quality Solutions Quality Corner Show has a request for you. Our goal is to spread the word about how quality measurement can help improve health outcomes, and we need your help in sharing this podcast to friends and colleagues in the healthcare industry. We also want you to provide feedback, ask us questions, and suggest health topics you'd like to see covered. If you are a health expert and you want to contribute to the show or even talk on the show, please contact us. You can email info@pharmacyquality.com. Let us know what is on your mind, what we can address, so that you are fully informed. We want you to be able to provide the best care for your patients and members, and we wish all of you listeners out there well.